there is, I think, great bipartisan agreement that there is a problem with big tech, and there are 5 companies that should be looked at, 4 of which we have looked at in the last year. I think there is, in terms of the majority report, I've read it. I agree with 330 pages of it, that there's a 20-page recommendation section. I agree with many of the recommendations. I think some of them need to be modified in some way, but I think you'll find that most Republicans and Democrats will come together with a bipartisan solution to deal and make sure that we give that the enforcement agencies, the FTC and the Department of Justice Antitrust Division, the resources and tools they need to really combat the anti-competitive nature of these 5 tech giants.
So you think more or less that the existing antitrust regulators need more resources, more firepower, and more ability to employ their powers. And as you mentioned, you have a lot of agreement with the descriptions that are laid out in this report, but some disagreement over what to do about it. And you have 3 areas of disagreement in particular. You don't want to see arbitration clauses eliminated that would open these companies up to major class action lawsuits. You don't want a Glass-Steagall-esque forced separation of big tech. And you're not happy that the report doesn't address how big tech censors speech. So are you expecting the other side to give on any of these 3 issues or not?
Well, I think it's going to take both parties. It depends on what the results of the election are November 3rd, but I think it's going to take both parties to move forward and send a clear message to the enforcement agencies and the courts that there really is a consensus in this country that these tech companies have become too big. They are cheating, they are stealing, they are engaging in activities that are really anti-competitive, and those activities should be reined in. I think if we can get away from the non-starters on both sides and find those positions where we can compromise, we will move forward in a way that will really help America and help the technology companies continue to innovate.
We just spoke with a tech analyst whose takeaway from what he's learned so far is that there's not going to be any forced breakups. There's not going to be a forced spin out of any app stores, whether Apple's or Google's. That most likely this just means it's going to be harder for big tech to make acquisitions going forward, and therefore maybe keeps them from being able to kind of ride the next generation of social media power. In hearing that assessment, are you disappointed, or do you think that that gets it about right?
No, I'm not disappointed at all, and I don't agree with the assessment necessarily. I think that it is not the role of Congress to break up companies. It is the role of Congress to make sure that the enforcement agencies have the resources and tools. I think you'll see a number of changes in the law and a lot of really signal sending to the courts and the enforcement agencies on what congressional intent is. And then it's up to those agencies to decide what the best remedy is for the problem that we're facing right now.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.